Okay, so we have made it to page 2. What they want us to do to start this one for number 1 is solve the proportion. It says x over 4 is equal to 5 over 7. So what we are actually going to do is do our cross multiplication, or as Miss Music tells me I'm supposed to say it, cross product. Hint, it's the same thing. So I'm going to do the x times the 7 and the 4 times the 5. So what I will have is 7x equals 20. Next thing I want to do is divide each side by 7 because I'm trying to get x by itself. So that cancels it out on that side. So now I have x equals 20 over 7. Now that is simplified down all the way. So I could leave my answer like this. If you wanted to have it as a decimal, you could do that. So 20 over 7, if I were to do that, would come out as 2.85714. So you can have your answer either as 20 over 7, or if you did it as a decimal, I could have done it like this as well. All right, homies, now we're on number 3 on page 2. This one is still solving the proportion, so we're still going to do our cross multiplication or cross product, depending on how you like to say it. So 7 times 5 is 35y equals 6 times 5y minus 8. So the reason I wrote this, it like this is because I want to make sure that you know that you do have to distribute it into the full equation. So we're going to have 35y on this side, and then 6 times 5y is 30y, and then 6 times a negative 8 would be minus 48. Now I want to get all the variables to one side. So what I am going to do is I'm going to subtract 30y from both sides of the equal sign so that it cancels out over here, which make it so I have 5y equals negative 48. Now I want to get y by itself, so what I'm going to do is divide by 5. So my answer could be left like this. So y equals negative 48 over 5, because we don't have a GCF, a greatest common factor. No number can go into both evenly. But let's say you wanted to make it a decimal, then you also could have your answer as negative 9.6. So either answer would be acceptable in my class. Okay, so we're looking at number 4 on page 2. It's saying the ratio of the sides for each polygon is given. Set up a proportion to solve for the variable. So on this one it says AB to BC is 3 over 8. So I'm just going to rewrite it as a fraction. So AB over BC is supposed to be equal to 3 over 8. So it has a ratio of 3 to 8. Instead of keeping it as AB over BC, I'm going to change it with what I see inside this picture. So first one they said was AB. Well, AB, they already told us, is 6. So I'm going to have 6 over, and BC in this case was our variable. They said it was just labeled as x. So I have 6 over x would be equal to the ratio of 3 over 8, or 3 to 8. Now I'm going to do my cross product, or cross multiplication. So I'm going to be doing x times 3 and 6 times 8. Well, 3 times x is equal to 3x, and 6 times 8 is 48. So now I have 3x equals 48. I want to get x by itself, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is now divide each side by 3 so that I can cancel it out over here. And x would be equal to 16. So the answer for this one would be 16. And they didn't give us any units, so I can just keep it as 16. Or if you want to, you can even write 16 units. So this is the last problem I'm going to show you on this page. This is number 6 on page 2. It says that JK to KL is 2 over 3. So just like the problem before, I'm going to write it as a fraction. So they have JK over KL is supposed to be equal to the ratio of 2 to 3. So 2 over 3. But instead of keeping it as JK and KL, we can actually make it into the numbers we see in here. So instead of JK, I'm going to put in the number 12. No, I am not. Just kidding. It is going to be 12. Get it? JK. Yeah. All right. So we have 12 over KL is Z minus 3. Z minus 3. And that is still equal to the ratio of 2 over 3. So now I want to do my cross product, or cross multiplication. So 3 times 12 is 36. That's going to be equal to 2 times Z minus 3. So remember, you do have to distribute. So it's going to be 2 times Z, which is 2Z. And then 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. So I have 2Z minus 6 on this side, and I still have my 36 on the other. Well, I'm trying to get Z by itself. So my next step should be to add 6 to both sides. That's so it cancels out over here. So now you have 42 equals 2Z. Next step, divide by 2. That's so it cancels out over here. And Z is equal to 21. Now, just make sure you read the directions. In this one, it says set up a proportion to solve for the variable. So it only says solve for the variable, so I don't actually have to plug this back in. If it said to solve for the side length, I would have to plug it back in. So just make sure that you're reading the directions. But for this problem, since we only had to solve for the variable, our answer would be 21 equals Z.